Hi everybody, it's Tim Yao here, Community Pioneer in Roundhouse Park and Cringleford, and welcome to your assembly this week, which is all about friendship. Yes, that's it. Now, hopefully you have got lots of friends. Maybe you've got good friends or best friends. Maybe you've got a big gang of friends. Maybe you've got one special friend. But hopefully all of us have got friends. Even if it's a pet at home, it's like your friend you like to cuddle, your rabbit or your guinea pig or whatever it is. We all have friends and we all need friends. But what is a friend? Well, a friend is someone who is, you know well, who knows you well, knows things about you. But I know things about the Queen, but she's not my friend. Or I know things about Boris Johnson, he's not my friend. So it's more than just knowing things about somebody. It's someone that you kind of look to, you spend time with, you've got a lot of affection, or you care for them a lot, or you really like them. So hopefully, you know, we've got people around us, whether it's in our family, we can be really friendly with our brothers and sisters, or even our kind of the big people in our family. They can become like friends. My dad is a lot older than me, and he's become like a friend as the years have gone by. But when you're you know, you could have friends your own at school, in your class, maybe that you play with in the playground. So friends are people that we like, who want to spend time with us, and who we get to know really, really well. So why are friends important? Well, some people would say that the only reason human beings have developed friendship is that, like, if it's that kind of self-preservation, is that to kind of to keep going. Like, if I look after you, you'll look after me. If I give you some extra food, at some point, you'll give me some extra food. If I give you some money, then you might give me some money, and so on and so forth. But is that really what it's about? Well, there are these people called psychologists, and psychologists look into your mind and look at the way people think. And they say that actually, when friends are together, they don't keep a record of who's given what and how much they've given. And over a long period of time, it doesn't matter, because over and above all that kind of that tally chart of who's given what and how much they've given is that sense of a connection, is that sense of care, is that sense of affection. And that kind of cancels out that kind of that balance, sometimes saying you owe me one or I owe you one. That doesn't matter, that kind of that care for one another. You know, in the Bible, when we look at some of the words for friend is someone who loves. Someone who loves. That's what friendship is really about. Now, I am going to take you back in time. So hold on to your hats. If you've got them, hold on to your seats, and here goes. Whoa! Oh, here I am in the olden days when Tim was little Tim, the squeaky one. Now, of course, when I was your age, I was at school and I had friends as well. And when you start to look for friends, you know, there's a way and things that you start to do. So the first thing I did, I remember making a friend, and his name was Gary. Now, Gary, the reason I chose him as a friend, or maybe he chose me, was because one day we came into school together. By the way, that is my school, my old school. And he was wearing the same as me. Now, we didn't wear school uniforms back then because, you know, that happens a lot at your school. But actually, we had the same kind of jacket on and that same kind of body warmer, the same trousers, the same shoes. And we're like, hey. We were an instant gang. And so we like hang out together at playtime. We'd like be playing with the zips on our kind of body warmers and our trousers. And we like feeling like, hey, we found someone who's like me. We were similar. But then one day, Gary came to school and he was wearing a different jacket. And he was wearing different shoes and different trousers. And we weren't the same anymore. And that friendship, we realised, was just based on what we looked like and the clothes that we had. And we realised that really wasn't much of a friendship at all. Then I had another friend. And now where I used to live, this friend was called Paul. And Paul was a bit cheeky, a little bit naughty. He would get into mischief. He was always getting into trouble at school. He was one of those kind of kids. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're thinking, oh, that's me. Well, I remember Paul, there was this thing where I lived called Mischievous Night, where you go out and you do like pranks on people and you do scares on people and that kind of thing. But Paul used to always want to take it a little bit further. Now, I remember being outside the shop and he was sat there and we were doing something and suddenly there was a fire. He got some matches. Now, you should not play with fire. Listen to me, do not play with matches, do not play with fire. But Paul was being, well, stupid. He was being really, really stupid. And he set something on fire. And I looked down at this fire, I was like, oh, there's fire. And then I looked up and Paul had gone. He'd run. And then I looked round and guess who was standing there? The police. And who do you think got in trouble? Me. And where was Paul? Gone. He wasn't stupid, but I was the stupid one for thinking friendship could be based on just doing stupid things and being stupid together. So he wasn't much of a friend. And then I had another friend. And he was also called Gary, a different Gary from the first Gary. And at first, Gary was like a really, really like super friendly. He wanted to get to know me. He wanted to hang out with me. He was always like, oh, can I come round? And I thought, this is cool. I've got a good friend here. And then he started like asking me, oh, I like this. And he used to like everything. I like your thing. I like your toy. And then one day, he saw I got a new spaceship, a new toy. I was really proud of it. I showed him it. I shot out these bullets and things. And he suddenly went, oh, yes, really cool. Oh, I wish I had something like that. Tell you what, I'll swap you. I'll swap you this. And because I liked him and I wanted to be a friend to him, he swapped me something which was really not very good. But he had this old bottle and he said, oh, it's an antique. It's really, really old. It's ancient. It's worth loads and loads of money. Oh, God, it'd be a really great swap. And I thought, well, because he's a friend, I want to believe him. So I took this old bottle and thought, yeah, gosh, antique. Wow, he's been really generous to me. And then my parents said, where's your new toy? Where's your new spaceship that we bought you? And I was like, oh, I swapped it. You swapped it? Yeah. Well, what did you swap it for? This old bottle? And my parents' faces, well, they were not happy, let's say that, because they realised what Gary, my so-called friend, had swapped me for was just a piece of old rubbish. And he made up lies just because he wanted the thing that I had. Our friendship was shallow. And shallow is the opposite of deep. Deep was when you know each other really well. And all Gary was concerned about was the stuff I had and that he wanted it. So he tried to be my friend just so he could get that stuff. So, you know, friends that because we're similar, friends that because we're a bit stupid, or friends because they're shallow. None of these friendships were any good at all. Now, I hope when you start to look at your friends, they're not those things. They're not not just about being similar, not just about being stupid, and not just about being shallow. I hope you're a better friend than that. And I hope your friends are better than that too. Okay, let's go back to the future. Hooray! Yay! Back with you in the present day. Well, look, there was this poet, a 19th century poet, so not this century, not the last century, but the century before that. He was called Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now, there's a name, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he said this. He said, the only way to have a friend is to be a friend. The only way to have a friend is to be a friend. I wonder if you know what that means. Being a friend is about putting other people first. It's not about getting what you want. It's not about having what you want. It's not about thinking, oh, I'm going to collect friends like I collect Pokemon or football cards or something like that, or whatever it is. A friend is about giving to others, about sharing what you've got. And not being about selfish or greedy, about pleasing yourself. It's about sharing and caring. It's just a kind of something, it's equal, isn't it? It's mutual. You give and you share with one another. You know, it's not about being selfish or wanting your own way. It's got to be more than that. The only way to have a friend is to be a friend. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, and it's a story about two friends. Now, there were once two friends who were farmers, And both of them had the equal amount of land, and they in the same kind of area, and they were neighbours. And so they would do their farming and bring in the wheat and the animals and fill their barns. Now, one day, one of the farmers was feeling sorry for his friend, because this farmer had a big family. He had kind of sons and daughters. He had a very active kind of extended family. And, you know, he was laying there in bed thinking, my poor friend on the other side of the valley, he lives on his own. He doesn't have all these friends and family around him. I feel really sorry for him. I don't know, what can I do to encourage him, to make him feel blessed, to do something nice for him? He says, I know, what have I got? Well, I've got lots of wheat and I've got lots of sacks of corn. So I know, why don't I give one of my sacks of corn to my friend secretly, and then have more than me, and then he'll be able to, you know, sell more and have more fun. And yeah, I'll do that. So in the middle of the night, he got up, he took a sack of corn and he took it over to his friend's barn. He secretly went in and he put the sack of corn in his friend's barn. Well, unbeknownst to him, his friend who just received the gift in his bed was thinking and laying there thinking, I feel sorry for my friend because he's got all these children and these extra mouths to feed. And, you know, I've got the same amount of land as him. The land is just as productive as his. I've got all this extra food and he's got all these extra mouths to feed, and he must be tight. You know what would a friend do? He would give him some of his food that he's got. So, but I want to do it secretly. I don't want him to feel like it's a charity case. So he went into his barn. He took a sack of grain. He went to the other side of the valley and he hid it in his barn. And this kind of backwards and forwards went on for a few weeks. Every night, each farmer got up feeling like he was doing a really amazing thing for his friend, taking a sack of wheat and putting it in his friend's barn. After a couple of weeks, both farmers thought, hang on a minute, how come my stocks of grain are not going down? Well, that night they were both crossing the valley to go and deliver the sack of corn, and they saw each other and they realized in that instant, when they were both carrying a sack of corn, what they were doing. And they laughed so much and they gave each other such a big hug, and they realized, you know, that they were true friends. You know, true friends give to each other, but also they are willing to receive. And sometimes we might not feel like we want to have help, but actually when we help each other and we look after each other, then everybody gets helped. If we're friends, all our friends get helped. You know, there's a book in the Bible called Proverbs, and Proverbs is a collection of sayings, about wise sayings about the best way to live and the best way to be. And one of those wise sayings says, a friend loves at all times. A friend loves at all times. You know, friendship isn't just about when things are going well or when you're feeling happy or when you've got lots. It's also being a friend when you're the opposite of those things, when you're feeling down and low, when you haven't got much at all and things are really tough. Because friendship goes beyond the material, beyond the kind of the self-centered. It's a friendship is about love. Love it. I know that's not a word that maybe some people in listening you might not think about love, but friendship is about loving each other, showing love in practical ways, caring about people, being a good friend. So my prayer and my hope for all of us is that you will be a good friend and that you too will find good friends. I'm going to finish with a prayer. And if you agree with it, you might want to say amen at the end. You might want to close your eyes to help you concentrate. So let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for our friends and for the happy times we share with them. Help us to be a good friend to them. Teach us how to play fairly and to share. Help us to recognize loneliness in others and show friendliness towards them. We know that you are our friend and will always be there for us. Amen. Well, hopefully you will have a great week and you'll learn to be good friends. And if I don't see you soon, I'll see you next time. Bye.